What is going on, everyone? This is NinjaGeek here, and today I am bringing you some infected gameplay from Call of Duty World War II, and straight up, honest, 100%, you know that I don't like this game. World War II has been an on and off road for me. The supply drop content has, I guess, kept me playing it, and plus for the fact that it is boots on the ground, and so it is somewhat relevant to what I like to play. However, the game is just broken in so many aspects and during the regular multiplayer that I don't really like it. However, out of nowhere, Sledgehammer Games decided to release the Attack of the Undead content drop event for Call of Duty World War II, and with that we have some new game modes, a bunch of new weapons, so on and so forth. But I really like this event because it's not really like previous events, right? Previous events, you would think of like having the winter event, like the winter siege event, where it was just kind of like a themed event for that time, and other events to come were sort of like that. They were good and they had the weapons and such, but they didn't really offer anything that was a new gameplay experience. And with this, they kind of just like dropped it out of nowhere. I was not even expecting this to be a thing, at least as far as I know. So I was really excited, and when I saw that Infected was coming back, I was equally excited. Then I hopped on, got some friends on, and we started playing Infected, and it is an absolutely fantastic game mode, and I would say that it's probably equally as good to MW3. MW3 has some things that are better than this game mode for sure, and I loved MW3 Infected the most before any of the other Infected game modes in the entirety of the Call of Duty franchise, but this Infected here in World War II does offer things that other Infected game modes, especially like the one in MW3, which had a lot of features, do not have. So, and that's where I think that Sledgehammer can take upon these criticisms and improve the Infected game mode. And right off the bat, obviously, I want to see this game mode stay. I think that Prop Hunt ended up staying after it was in an event, so I really, really hope that Infected does stay. Even if they have to, like, cancel a game mode that's already there, do something, you know what I mean? Like, I think that we should be able to, like, play Shipment 1944 all the time, which is how it is, and Infected, definitely all the time. I don't think it should be restricted to just this event. We're gonna have to see how it plays out, but Infected is super, super fun. So basically, how Infected is different, I mean, I'm pretty sure that you know already how to play the game mode. I mean, of course, it's a survivor versus Infected, but the Infected in this game are actually zombies, so they're skinned like zombies, and it makes the experience so much better. The sounds and the way that they move and act, and when they turn into Infected and the way that you can hear them around the map, it gives it more of a dynamic element, whereas previously you wouldn't really know where the Infected was coming unless you had a headset and cranked up the volume to hear their footsteps, or like you just saw them coming in your direction. With this game, you could really like hear where they are, and it is really scary. It's a really good scary take on Infected, and I really do enjoy that. Now, the Infected in this game don't have throwing knives, which is a very excellent change. I felt like throwing knives were the way to give the Infected some kind of advantage to kind of fight against people with guns, and you might think, well, if there's no throwing knives, how do they balance that? Because that's not fair if one team has guns and the other team has to use like a melee weapon and they can't really go against it. Well, I really felt like the throwing knives were unfair because you could just, it's like randomness. In other words, you could just randomly get clipped anywhere, but without throwing knives, the Infected in this game run much faster, like noticeably faster, and the maps I feel play more towards that style, as in you're not going to see somebody coming from 10 miles down the road. Most of the times it's like really close encounters and engagements, and they run really fast, so I really feel like it's really, really balanced in that regard. And of course, the Infected still have tack inserts. You place down a zombie head and it acts like a tack insert. So Infected is, I think it's absolutely fantastic in COD World War II, and I've been playing it all night trying to grind out some wins, trying to get these new weapons. That's one thing, though, about the Infected game mode that I wish would change back to the way it was in MW3. Actually, before I talk about that, I forgot to mention that care packages do drop. So you have a standard setup, like you have your Type 100, you have your combat shotgun, your Bettys, and a gas grenade. But care packages will drop around the map, right? And the care packages can include, I believe, the flamethrower, the V2 rocket, and there are some tripwires in there. Now, the tripwires are definitely not worth going for because you can't really place them in lots of places, and they're okay, but I wouldn't risk my life for it. Flamethrower kind of stinks too. I wouldn't go for that one because the flamethrower takes longer to cook up the enemies, and by the time that they run at you, they can easily run through the flame. Even if they die, they still usually get you first. That's what I've noticed. The V2 though is absolutely fantastic idea, and I'm so glad that they put this here. Now, some people would probably complain that it's in a care package, but I really don't care. It's a fun game mode. It's supposed to be like a party game mode. I really don't care if you have to earn it or if you get it in this care package. Like, I think that that's actually pretty fun because you never know if there's going to be a V2 at all that match or if there's going to be 5 of them that match. It just depends on the random luck of the care packages dropping, and it's all good and fun. Like, I don't really think people really care about being V2'd in an infected game mode, so I feel like they did an excellent job with that as well. But some changes now, getting into that I would like to see. The MW3 Infected had more guns. So you could load onto Terminal with a Striker, but you can also load onto it the next match with FMG9s. Like I said, MW3 had more guns. You had the Striker, you had the Juggernaut versus the Striker. That was an interesting one. You had so many different variants of different guns to use, like the PP90, the FMG Akimbos. And this game, you only have your Type 100, you have your combat shotgun, and that's it. And I feel like if they made it so that it was a randomly generated whatever you loaded into, like it could be like a certain specific type of loadout where it changed different styles, it would make the game flow better because you wouldn't always be playing with the same guns. But I also have to say that obviously MW3 didn't have any kind of like DLC weapon or supply drop or anything like that, but since we have that here in COD World War II, it would be nice if they gave us some kind of loadout along with this randomly generating system that allowed us to use like the Type 2 Nambu, or I mean the blunderbuss would probably sneak in infected, but even, you know, the blunderbuss, give us some kind of like new glimpse at a weapon and let us use it for a match or two while it's randomly generating throughout the system, and that way people will be like, hey, you know, this weapon's really, really good. I want to spend my time grinding this game, or I actually want to buy supply drops to do that. Now, I'm not advertising that you should, but some people will, you know, and that's just a fact. And actually, funny story, I was playing with my friend last night. It was probably around like 12, almost midnight, I think, at that point, and we get back to the headquarters, and I'm ready to open up my 3 supply drops that I grinded for a long time, and, well, not really that long in the grand scheme of things, but this guy, he's sitting there opening up hundreds of supply drops, like, he just keeps going and going, and my friend's like, holy shit, how many does he have? And I'm like, yeah, I'll probably bought it. I mean, he was a prestige master level, like 300 something, like, I was just... I couldn't believe how many he had, and he got some good stuff out of there too. He got some really good stuff out of the supply drops. But yeah, so you see, it'll just make people buy it if they can actually get their hands on with the weapons. But what sucks is when you can't do that, and then you gotta watch gameplay, and you're like, I don't really know how it acts, so I don't know if I'm gonna buy it, type of thing. But yeah, anyways, I think that's it for this video. If you did enjoy it, let me know your thoughts on Infected down below. Infected needs to stay, period. That's what needs to happen. And I'm so glad that Sledgehammer brought this in. It really revitalized COD World War II because the game was pretty much dead for me, in my opinion. But this game mode and this whole event kind of rejuvenated my excitement for World War II. And so yeah, let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you on the next one. This is NinjaGeek. I'm out, and peace.